Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the School of Design Virtual Open House 2021. We would have loved to meet all of you live in the flesh and welcome you to the school itself, but unfortunately, because of COVID-19 and all our social distancing guidelines, we thought it was better to just meet you online like this. My name is Pat Chong. I am the Assistant Director in charge of Publicity and Outreach at the School of Design. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit about the design landscape and the post-graduation options. Very often, we do meet parents and students who ask us a lot of questions about the prospects of a life in design. As a designer, what is the career like? What is life in design like in the industry? What should we look out for? Where are the opportunities? And so on. And I'm happy to tell you that actually in design, there's never been a better time to do design. Really, the opportunities are wider than it is today than at any other time in history, right? Today, design is coming to the attention of industry beyond the traditional creative industries. So you will see lots of career opportunities in non-traditional design areas as well. And so for today, I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about all your options, whether you choose to continue your studies in a university, or if you're choosing to look for a job and become a design professional, what's out there waiting for you? And we're live on YouTube. So if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. I can see your questions as they come along, and I'll be able to answer them at the end of this talk. All right, so bear with me. So very quickly, let's start first by looking at the Apparel Design and Merchandising course. As you know, in TP School of Design, we offer 5 diploma programs, the Apparel Design and Merchandising being one of them. And it is an area which is very rich in lots of opportunities for very exciting careers. So I know many people would have thought of fashion being very glamorous and being very exciting. You're not wrong. There's also a lot of hard work involved in the fashion industry. So if you look at the industry today, if you graduate with a diploma in fashion, where can you go? Retail, obviously, is one of them. E-commerce shops like your Lazada, Shopee, and so on, Zalora, they're all up and coming. And in all of these new industries, you're going to need trained people who will understand how the fashion industry works, as well as the basics of merchandising and branding and so on. And if you look further, there are different sorts of careers that you can have within all these industries as well. So you could be a fashion journalist, you could be a stylist for a magazine, right? You could also become a brand consultant because in the course, we do teach you about branding, we do teach you about social media marketing, for example. So there are lots of opportunities to move on from there. If you're interested in more the back end of fashion in terms of design itself, there's a lot of room to be an apparel product developer or a fashion designer working for a chain, boutique perhaps, or you could even run your own blog shops. And we have a fair number of our students who, when they graduate from us, they do run their own blog shops. They become entrepreneurs in their own right. Okay, so there's a lot of scope for this. And I'm going to move on now to communication design. In communication design, again, this is a very wide area. And the graduates who leave us when they finish communication design, they can go practically in every direction there is in the creative field. So there's marketing, there's communication. Many of them go into advertising. There are big chain firms like DDB, which is one of the largest advertising agencies in Singapore, as well as very small boutique niche firms that our graduates can find themselves in as well. And because communication today is so wide, and it encompasses not just your traditional print or film, it even goes into social media. You're talking about digital platforms, and there are many, many ways to run a career in communication design. So look at the careers that are available for you to choose. You can be a brand strategist, you can be a graphic designer. In fact, the communication design course really trains all our graduates at basic fundamental level to be good graphic designers. And from there, they are able to specialize in terms of branding, they're able to specialize in terms of image design, and that again opens several doors for them. So you could be a marketing executive, you could become somebody who works in UI or UX, if you're very interested in typography and you want to make a career out of this and design your own fonts, you could be a typographer as well. Okay, so content is everything in the world that we live in today. So if you are always on social media, you know that there's always fresh content that needs to be delivered, right? There's short video clips that need to be produced. There are little memes that need to be created. And all this provide lots of avenues for those who want to pursue a career in communication design. And now moving on to digital film and television. Again, the industry is so wide, and you will notice by now that there are some overlaps in terms of design across different fields, whether it is digital film and television or communication design. So those who graduate from DFT, digital film, they would have a background in understanding the basics of video editing, producing a strong story on film, and all these skills are going to be very useful when it comes to content creation, especially in the area of advertising, when you're moving to brand agencies, when you're doing digital technologies, and so on. So if you look at social media again, all our short 1-minute video clips that you see today, that has to be a team or somebody out there who produces things like that. And for those who are trained in digital film and television, they would have the skills to be able to write a strong story, film it, edit, and put it out there for public consumption as well. And look at the careers that are there. If you look at director of photography, producer, those are very high-level careers. Of course, when you first graduate from us, as it is in every industry, you really have to take time to work your way up there. So you will not become a producer overnight or immediately, but certainly with certain amount of years under your belt, say after about 2-3 years, 4 years, it's not a problem to become a producer or a director. If you can even try and pull enough people together, maybe one day create your own film as well, all right? And now, looking at interior architecture and design, the graduates from this diploma course will be looking at mainly architectural, of course. You can work in interior design industry, you can work in architecture, in architectural firms, building and construction firms as well. You can even work in urban planning as well, all right? So again, there's a lot of scope. And if you look at industry, I even put film, media, and theater there. So what does interior architecture design have to do with film, media, and theater? Very often, some of the graduates from here and their skills in understanding spatial design would be very useful when they are out there working in the film industry as set designers or stage designers for the theater. So all these skills, when it comes to lighting, when it comes to building of sets, they would be able to contribute as well. But more importantly, many of our grads, also when they leave us, do continue on to study architecture. And when they do, and they are registered as architects, some of them do go on to open their own firms in architecture as well. But again, the scope is very wide. And later on, as I'll show you, there are really no limits. Even if you're trained in interior architecture and design, some of our grads have moved into graphic design, or some of our grads who are formerly from graphic design may even have moved into architectural or interior design. So again, the lines are very blurred. I like to think of design as a very nice, big, generic area with certain specializations that will allow you to do some crossover at some point. And now we look at product and industrial design. So out of these are our 5 courses that we have here. And in product and industrial design, I dare say the scope is now, in fact, larger than ever. What you see here under industry are your traditional areas, in retail, in transportation, in exhibition, consumer electronics. So the likes of Dell, HP, Philips, Panasonic, Samsung. We have our grads who will work in these areas as well, all right? And for all you know, you could be part of a team that designs the next award-winning printer, the next award-winning cell phone, right, or interface. And there's many ways that they can do this. It's not just in manufacturing or visual merchandising. You can even move into experience design. And when you move into experience design or service design, today there are lots of opportunities, as I will show you later, where there's a lot of room in non-traditional design areas for product designers to now make their mark. Look at the careers that are now available for product and industrial design. You could be a furniture designer. You could be someone who is an experienced designer or someone who works in up-and-coming UI or UX. right? You could even be a design researcher. And very often today, as the human experience becomes more and more important in terms of the right clients, the right audience, more and more companies are in fact looking at how design can be used to improve the experience. And with that in mind, the role of design research then becomes very important. And because product and industrial designers do understand human-centered research, they are able to perform this role really well. Okay. So after you graduate from us, what is it like in studio culture? So for most of our graduates, if you move into the creative industry, whether it's in architecture or in film or in graphic design or in advertising or even in fashion, studio culture is going to be a very strong part of your life as a designer. And what is it really? You can see some of the pictures there. It is a very open sort of a concept where ideas are freely exchanged. It is very social. It is very idea-driven. And very often it's a sort of setting where you pool your ideas together, you brainstorm together, and you generally work together. Even if your project is a solo project, you will gain by having your colleagues around you also sharing their thoughts and giving you inputs about the different ideas that can work or can't work, right? Usually a studio setting is really fun and it's very dynamic. It's pretty much hands-on as well, okay? Depending. So if you're working, let's say, in a product and industrial design studio, that may be, of course, be a lot more hands-on than, let's say, if you're working in an advertising studio, all right? So it really depends. But what I would have to say is within design school, we have a studio culture here as well. In fact, most of our students do work in studios in school here. And that sense of collaboration actually starts right from the beginning when they are here in school. And if you ask any design students, they'll tell you that studio culture is something that they are very fond of, they have very strong memories of, and in fact, it sets the basis for their work life as well. And now moving on, let me just talk a little bit about trends in the changing design landscape. And this is something that you all have to know when you are projecting ahead. And I'm very mindful that when you are making this choice to come into design school now at the age of 16, you need a sort of a crystal ball, you know, to look ahead, to see what's going to happen in the next 4 years, 5 years from now. Where are the opportunities that you can look out for, right? And so with this in mind then, let me talk about the trends if I can just project a little bit ahead. First off, you must understand that in Singapore, most of the design firms here, 90% in fact, are micro SMEs. When I say micro SMEs, what I mean is these are firms and companies with probably less than 20 people in terms of staffing. So they're small, they are very tiny, but they're very nimble. Many of them, because they are so small, they are able to grasp opportunities a lot faster. The turnaround is in fact a lot faster as well, right? So there are trade-offs, of course, when you work in a small SME or when you decide to work in a larger advertising agency, let's say an international brand. Of course, the experience will be quite different when you are working in an SME versus a large firm. All right. The second thing is now growing in-house design capability in non-design. What does that mean? I see this as an opportunity. Now, previously, a lot of companies would go to design firms and hire them, you know, to do their design work. So if I needed, say, a photo shoot, I would go to a design firm to say, get this done. If I needed a new logo, I would go to a design firm and I'll get this done. But what we are seeing now is that gradually and growing, there are a lot of non-design firms that now have their own in-house design teams. So even in government sectors, even in large organizations, you know, they tend to have their own corporate communications team with designers already inside. So this means that designers now have a wider choice. I can now choose to work in a design firm, a boutique firm, a small agency, or I can now choose to look at large firms, large corporations with their own in-house design teams and join them as well. Of course, the experience would be very different. You would have one employer, one brief, or maybe different briefs with the same employer, as opposed to working with design firms, which may then have many different clients coming in. So it's quite a different experience. But I see this as an opportunity. because of the growing awareness of how design is increasingly more important in the business landscape. We talk about the growing gig economy, where designers are now hired on project basis, all right? Particularly for some industries, such as media and film, where you will find that there is a lot of demand for soloists, solo designers or filmmakers who are now freelancers. They are very strong and entrenched in their expertise. And because they have a growing reputation for a certain type of work that they do, a certain specialized type of work that they do, industry would then try to pick on them or hire them on a per project basis as well. So again, there are opportunities for freelance work as well that's increasing in today's landscape. Now, if I look at AI now coming in, machine learning coming in, a lot of the old entry-level roles may be removed. But again, I don't see this as a threat. I do see this as an opportunity. And this is where the skills that we give you in design school are so important. Far more than training you just in the technical skills alone. The School of Design places a lot of emphasis on creative ideation, creative resilience, the ability to be very generative, to come up with different ideas, the softer skills of the design training that go beyond the hard skills, beyond the technical skill sets. And because there's so much emphasis on this, I believe that when the grads leave us and they go off to work, even if the entry-level technical skills may be taken over by automation, there will always be a room, there will always be demand for designers who have that ability for critical thinking, for ideation, and to be very creative in their approaches. And now moving on, again, as I said, contract work is also likely to increase. So the world of work is changing so dramatically, right? We look for full-time employment, but I would urge everybody to also be open, to contract work. So, and this has something to do with the next point as well, right? Consulting and so on will be key drivers. But let me go to the last point about COVID-19 and contract work. What does these two points have to do with each other? I think they're vital. We are now, COVID-19 has actually shown us that remote work is so possible. And with remote work, contract work is likely to come in. So what happens then? Think of it this way. You will now have the opportunity perhaps to work with clients from a different country if you're working remotely. So if your portfolio is good and you're out there, you're really looking at an international landscape of employers. All right. So I see this as an opportunity, a very strong opportunity to go global, rather than look at Singapore alone as your rice bowl. Really, the world, the entire world becomes your rice bowl. Look at the second last point, tech, business consulting, finance. These are all key drivers for design talent today. These are all very strong business areas who recognize the value of design, and they are hiring designers. They are hiring designers so that designers who understand the design process, who are able to be innovative, come up with creative ideas, strong problem-solving approaches, they will be seen and be very valued by their clients, who work with these business consulting firms and financial firms as well. So again, looking beyond just the traditional design landscape, a lot of opportunities out there in the non-design sphere, and this is again growing. So what's hot today? All right, what are the key buzzwords that we're looking at in terms of design today? So look at the words in blue that are coming up. This is going to be very fresh and up and coming in the world of design. We're looking at digital. That's no secret. Because of COVID-19, the world has gone digital. And we can only become even more digital from this point on. A lot of experience design, UI, UX is now coming to the fore, which means that those who are trained in product and industrial design or any facet of design would be very much in demand. We're looking at research, sustainability, community. I think we are now looking for design experiences that have meaning. And today, when you look at design, it's not so much just functional. It has to be meaningful and it has to have purpose as well. So social, service, strategy, all that now becomes key when you're looking at design and opportunities in design. And what are some of the occupations? Look at the interesting occupations that are now coming up. So earlier in the earlier slides, I was talking about typical occupations, typical career paths that are already in design. Now I am showing you in gray all these interesting and unique roles that are coming up in design as well. And I didn't make any of this up. I mean, look at that, Director of People, Meme-in-Chief, aka Social Community Manager. I didn't make any of this up. In fact, this was taken from a direct search on LinkedIn. So these are real jobs and real roles that are now happening out there. So look out for all these non-traditional ways to do design, and put that design talent and design training to good use. I think there's a lot of potential there to be very different, right, and to be very unique, and to have fulfilling careers as well in these new areas. So don't just look at what is traditional, what is tried and true. I would look ahead and be ready to be very original. Look at all these firms, and this is just a snapshot that I'm putting out here, right? The Prime Minister's Office, Deloitte. Deloitte, of course, as you know, is a big financial firm. You look at OCBC Bank or DBS or even Changi Hospital. So there isn't a single common element among all these diverse firms that I've put out here. And the one thing, though, that they do have in common really is the fact that they are now hiring designers. Okay, so think of it. These are not traditional design firms, but they are very big. They are big brands. They are well known. They are dependable firms, and they are taking in designers, okay, in large numbers as well. Where is they obviously see that potential for design to be part of their processes as well. So I'm going to show you this. If you look at this, you will see all these faces here. These are all our grads. At some point, they graduated from us with a design diploma in different areas, but they have moved on from their original diploma. If you look at the second picture from the top on the left, that's Christian. Christian is a consultant in Deloitte, Tomatsu, Japan. He graduated with a diploma in graphic design, in visual communication. Eventually, he was hired by Deloitte. It's a big four accounting firm. And they took him in to do design thinking, right? They wanted to start design thinking for all their partners and their clients. And they thought there was opportunity there. So Christian went in to do design thinking. Eventually, he left and he joined OCBC in terms of experience design. So this is a bank, again, hiring a designer. And finally, he left OCBC to rejoin Deloitte, but this time in Japan, in Tokyo, where he again continues to spearhead design thinking. So design has breached many borders. It's not just the traditional ways of doing design. They are in all kinds of industries now, and they are moving international as well. All right, so look further, look at Jacob Soon. Now, Jacob graduated from us with a diploma in digital film and television. But today, his work is not in film, but he is a brand rep. In other words, he's doing merchandising with Abercrombie & Fitch, a very well-known American fashion brand. So if you look at all these diverse faces, they are all in non-design areas. So there's a lot of potential today for our designers to, again, cross over from the usual design firms to go into non-design areas. Now let's talk about further studies. I know that quite a number of our graduates and our students who come in here, even our parents, if there are parents in the audience right now, would have this question: what are the prospects, for further studies? Where do I go? Look at that in terms of media, communication, business, IT, social sciences, and humanities. Our graduates have found places in degree granting institutions in all these areas. Design is very broad, and design has an underpinning of humanities as well. So our grads are able to go into business degrees, they are able to do communication degrees in the humanities. Some of them have gone into IT as well. I always find it very useful to tell our grads that, we've given you the basic fundamental skills in design. And when you do graduate and you are considering a degree, do move into adjacent areas, because you can. And that will strengthen your whole proposition in terms of finding employment and being valuable to your employer. Because not only do you have design skills, very specialist technical skills in design, you will now also have a different perspective from business, a different perspective from media, and so on. So there are opportunities to cross over to different fields of studies, not just in design. And I fully encourage our grads and our students to do that too when they graduate. So go adjacent, right? And find new opportunities there. So if there are people who want to continue doing design, right? Some of the best design schools in the world have taken in our students. And if you look at that list, it is not exhaustive. There are many other names, other well-known design schools in the world that have taken in our students, but these are among the best. So if you look at the local universities, NTU, NUS, SUTD, SUSS, they do take in our students as well. But if you look overseas, some are very reputable names, such as, let me see, Pratt Institute, or Central St. Martin's in the University of Arts in London, or even Yale University School of Art. Right, Yale is, as you know, is an Ivy League school. It's one of the best in the world. And our students have found places in this school as well. All right, so now getting into a school like this, of course, means that your portfolio of work has to be very, very good. And that's really what we do here within the School of Design. Whatever you do within design school, all the projects that you do here, that is going to form your portfolio of work when you apply to all these different institutions or when you're applying for a job. So the work that you do here is not just academic and in school. They are going to form an important part of your portfolio when you are out there hoping that the doors will open for you. All right, so rest assured that the School of Design is very well known for its high standards in design. And our rigor in our curriculum is there. So rest assured that the portfolio that you will produce through the projects that you do would be quite substantial. But let me put something to you, for your consideration. Are you sure you need a degree? So there's a lot of discussion now in today's world, and it's not just a discussion that's taking place today in Singapore. I believe it's a discussion that's taking place all over the world. So this question, do you really need a degree to do well in design or in any industry? But let's talk about design. Now, when you look at all these people here on the slide, they are all successful designers, entrepreneurs in their own right. If you look at the picture of the 5 gentlemen standing there, they are all award-winning designers and creative directors. In fact, they have won the President's Design Award, the Designers of the Year. This is a very prestigious award, and out of all 5 of them who have won this, right, only 1 has a degree. The rest of the 4 have no degrees. They still maintain their diploma from Temasek Poly, and they are now very successful in their own right, as designers. The lady, in the corner over there, her name is Chrisandra. She also has a diploma in interior architecture and design, and she too did not go on to university. In fact, she started her own firm, an architectural firm, which she later sold to Ong & Ong, which is, as you know, is one of the big brand names in the architecture industry. So none of them, have actually gone on to get a degree from a university. I think they felt that work was so fulfilling and so profitable that there was really no need or even no time to really go and get a degree. The gentleman in the middle, of course, is Jeff Cheong. He is, in fact, today he is Deputy CEO of the DDB Group Singapore. And the DDB Group is, in fact, one of the world's largest digital agencies. And Jeff was, graduated from us with a diploma in visual communication. So he's done really well today. In fact, if you want to hear from him, I encourage you to come back tomorrow at 2 p.m. He's going to talk about his life, how he made his choices, why did he choose to come and do design, and about the potential of design, today. So if you can, please come by and hear him speak tomorrow at 2 p.m. The links are all in the microsite. So if you go in, you'll be able to click on that to join us tomorrow as well. And finally, Royston, he's a well-known filmmaker today. And yes, he doesn't have a degree as well, but he's made some of Singapore's most successful films. So again, these are probably all outliers, and they do very, very well. So I also want to say that there are now different pathways. So for some of our grads who leave us and they choose not to go to work or get a job, or they choose that not to get a degree, some of them do go on to do this work-study program. In fact, it's a very generous program which is funded by the Singapore government. And there are all these specialist diplomas that we offer in branding design, in integrated design communication, lighting design, interior design practice. And think of it this way, it is about a one-year program, and it really helps to hone your design skills a little bit more or offer you a different edge in design, so that when you do go out there and get a job, this is an additional diploma that you have, probably a bit more specialist in a more specialist area that will help you get employed a little bit better. I want to talk a bit about passion. And passion is important when you're doing design work. So why is passion important? I think passion gives you the stamina to keep going. Design work is something that you really need to love. You need to love problem solving. You need to love how to find ideas. You need to be curious. And you must love what you do. If you don't love what you do, then design work can sometimes lead you to burn out quite fast. So you have to do what you love. And if you believe in passion, and you believe in design work, you will find a lot of opportunities there. You will be able to see lots of different ways where you can do design. And that will invigorate you and excite you and offer you more opportunities to move on. And to this example, let me introduce you to Felix. Felix Nai graduated from us with a diploma in fashion, apparel design and merchandising a few years ago. Felix is very passionate about the art and craft of indigo dyeing. So what did he do? He's very clear and very single-minded in his pursuit. When he left us, he couldn't afford to go to Japan to be an apprentice to an indigo farmer. So what did he do? He joined Singapore Airlines. He became flight crew for a few years, after he finished NS and so on. When he finally had enough money, he went to Japan, where he's an apprentice to an indigo farmer and a dyer. So he hasn't abandoned his fashion roots, right? But he's very single-minded in what he believes in. He's still doing fashion, but it is in a very different craft-based aspect of fashion. So it is important to be quite clear in what you want, and then, be passionate about pursuing it. So attitude really is everything. I say this to all our students, right? When they are out there looking for a job, or whether they're out there trying to get a project, having the right attitude is important, and being open is going to be equally important, right? So when you are open to a lot of opportunities, you'll be able to see possibilities, many different ways, many different companies, or different projects, or different ways to approach problems that will then stand you in very good stead when you're out there looking for all these choices. And finally, before I leave you, I just want to say, before you make your choices, think about this a little bit. Really, it's not about who has more talent. It's really about who is hungrier. If you are hungry for opportunities, you're hungry to get to be a good design professional, this will help you very much, in achieving all this. And with that, I've come to the end of my presentation. I'm just going to take some questions right now, and let me see. Okay, before the talk starts, what time does the talk end? It's actually ending now, but I guess I'll end at the latest 6 p.m. When I answer all these questions as well. All right. So, question from Achana: what is the future of design graduates in SG, and how big is the industry here? What is the scope for fresh grads of design and communication diploma? Okay, I hope I've answered that question as I went on. I think the future of design graduates, as I said, is bigger than ever. The potential here is now big, because not only are you seeing demand in the traditional aspects of communication design and graphic design and so on, you are now seeing opportunities in the non-design sectors as well, right? So I think that there's really a lot of scope for a lot of our graduates to be out there in terms of the communication design diploma. And that diploma alone, the scope is so wide. So even if you still choose to move into the traditional areas of graphic design or communication design, there are many, many opportunities, as I showed you earlier, in communication, in branding, in retail, in film, and so on. Okay, there's another question here that says, do you need a strong base of drawing when you enter a design course in TP? No, you don't. And I really, really want to assure everyone that you don't need to know how to draw. We've had students who couldn't draw to save their lives. And when they come in here, everybody starts with a subject called Design Fundamentals. And that's where we teach you how to draw. We teach you the basics of drawing. And it's okay, drawing and art, well, art and design are two entirely different things. So sometimes I hear people say that, okay, you need to be very good in art in order to do design. I'll say that's not quite true. Being good in art helps you express yourselves. Being able to draw helps you to express an idea. But there are many ways to express an idea. I know a fair number of designers who cannot draw very well, but they are able to express their ideas strongly. We have among us in the School of Design students who have who don't have an art background. They have a triple science background, or they have a D&T background, or can't draw, but they all end up doing very well at the end of the day. So it's not about art, it's really about ideas, all right? I hope I've answered that question. There is another question from Achana. Okay, it says, are graduates from TP Design School equipped to enter the workforce, or is a degree a preferred route ahead? Okay, Achana, I hope I've answered that question too. Really, yes, they are equipped to enter the workforce, for sure. All our curriculum is designed in consultation with industry. We understand what industry is looking for, where are the skill sets that are in demand, and we tailor the curriculum to fit this. So rest assured that when our graduates are out there, they are able to enter the industry immediately without too much hand-holding. They're able to just swim straight off the bat. Okay. As to whether a degree is a preferred route, again, it depends on the individual. I've shown you many examples in design, especially where a degree may not be essential to be successful in design. But having said that, a lot of our graduates still pursue degrees because they feel that they want the experience of being in university. They feel that there's more that they need to learn, or they want to add more depth to design studies. They pursue a degree. So there are no hard and fast rules. But definitely design is one of those areas where you don't actually need a degree to really succeed as well. And there are many examples of that. Okay, there's another one from Shellco. Okay. Will having a large interest in history of art help with your chances and acceptance? Okay, I presume you are referring to the early admissions exercise. Yes, if you have a history of doing art, if you have a strong portfolio, if you have a deep interest in design, and you're able to communicate that to us, then yes, we are likely to take you in during EAE. The portfolio, of course, has to be very strong. And when I say a strong portfolio, I'm not just referring to your, let's say, your coursework in art or in D&T. I'm looking at design work that's done outside of school, right? So you have to show us breadth and depth in terms of a very good portfolio, a wide range of different works to convince us that this portfolio is a good portfolio, okay? So just interest in history alone, yes, may not be enough, but it has to be bolstered by a good portfolio. Okay, Calvini says, should a person choose a specialized degree design or a more common one like communication design? Actually, even within communication design, you are allowed to specialize, right? In the second year in comm design, you can choose, between integrated digital design, integrated digital communication, or image design, or branding design. So you are still allowed to specialize. It really, I would say, to answer this question, I guess it really depends on what you are passionate about. What are you interested in? So again, it's not a hard and fast rule. I would say pursue your passion. I think this is the time when you're at open house to find out as much as possible about what type of diploma you are interested in. What does each diploma really offer you? And then pick the one that you feel that you have the right attributes for, right? So no hard and fast rules for that. Okay, Archana, another question. What is the cohort size for design communication design? How many EAE are chosen for this diploma? Okay, the cohort size, I think that's available on the website, if I'm not wrong. But usually in a year, we take in about 100, slightly over 100 for communication design. As to how many EAE are chosen, again, it varies from year to year. It depends really on what MOE, also, shares with us. So usually, I think we do take in a fair number. Yeah, year from year it will vary. So I'm not sure for this year how many we would be taking in. It's still a little bit early in the day. We are only in January, but EAE is usually opening sometime in June. So perhaps closer to June, we might have this information. Okay, and Calvini asks, can a student change the specialization if he finds out what he has chosen does not fit him well after the course has started? Yes, you can, but again, that depends on a few things. Are you changing, to a non-design course? Let's say you find out that design is completely not for you, and you would rather go into IT or business. So that depends on that question. Or are you changing between design disciplines? So maybe from communication design, perhaps you prefer fashion and you want to switch to a fashion course. Again, that depends. Yes, you're able to change, but there's an administrative process that you need to go through, and you would have to give up your place in the course before you can switch courses like that. All right. So I don't think it's impossible, but I don't think it's going to be as simple or convenient to just change courses just like that. So I would really urge you to think, really long and hard first before you decide on a course. Before you make that final choice. Right? After all, it's going to be 3 years of your life, invested in this program as well. Can a student do well without O-level art or no drawing skills in a design course? Yes, 100% yes. Many of our students do this. In fact, only, if I'm not wrong, only a small percentage of our students actually have art skills or art background within the design course. So we have a fair number, as I said, who come from many different courses, different backgrounds, and yes, they continue to do well. Don't let the lack of drawing skills be a deterrent. We do teach you, and it is not a crucial thing, to have within a design course. Okay. There's another question here. Calvini72 says, within the design courses, if you want to switch, I presume you're referring to that earlier question about whether you can switch courses. If you want to switch within the design courses, I think you can, but you would not be able to resume. Let's say if you switch at the end of year 1, you won't be able to go to year 2 in the new course. Very likely you'll have to start again from year 1. But and again, that also depends whether there are available places or not. So there are a lot of ifs and buts with this. It's a complex question, complex situation. It's not impossible, but it can be quite complex. Okay, I hope I've answered everybody's questions, and I really thank all of you for giving me so many questions. I hope it's answered some of your the queries that you may have about the prospects in design and the different courses that we have. I'm open to more questions here. We'll give it maybe about a minute or two, for more questions to come in, or any clarifications perhaps of those that I've answered earlier. And if there are no questions, that's also okay. There's lots of opportunity, in fact, to continue speaking to us. Tomorrow, in fact, at 11 o'clock or even at 10 o'clock, there's going to be a seminar. If you have not signed up, I believe you still can sign up. And if you're interested in design, you can join the breakout session after that, where you can meet me again and my colleague, Deputy Director from the School of Design, who will be happy to answer your questions as well. Okay, Achana has another question. How many TP funds subjects are mandatory for design students? Can you please explain a bit more about TP Fund? How do they complement the diploma courses? Okay, TP Fund is a series of subjects that are compulsory for every single TP student. Right, so whether you're in business or you're in design, you will take TP Fund subjects, and they are the same subjects. All right, so these are core subjects for all TP students. How many TP Fund subjects? I believe there are, I think about 8, if I'm not wrong, 7 to 8. I can't be sure. I think the website will probably give you a more accurate figure. And explain a bit more about TP Fund. Okay, so these are core subjects, And these are areas which we feel are important for every single TP student, regardless of the diploma course that they're taking. So for example, innovation and entrepreneurship, these are skills which we feel are going to be essential in, in their careers when they graduate from us, or even the ability to, for LEAP and for CARE to grow a strong character, to have integrity. I think these are all important in terms of leadership, and these leadership attributes and qualities are also embedded in the TP Fund subjects. This includes also like things like global mindset, when you have global learning, understanding different cultures. I think these are all going to be soft skills that are going to be needed, when you are out there in industry, right? Apart from just the technical diploma skills that we will teach you. So that's why TP as a whole instituted TP Fund, because we believe that these are essential and baseline subjects for all design students, all TP students, in fact. As to how do they complement the diploma courses, well, if you look at all the soft skills, whether you're taking, you're learning about entrepreneurship, or you're learning about innovation, you're learning about care, I think, and being, sensitive, let's say, and aware of different cultures, different styles, I think these are all going to complement the diploma courses. The diploma courses will, of course, be technical in nature, but these are the softer areas that will, of course, be the second half of that whole. So I think that's important. Okay, I think there's another question now. What if I'm stuck between two courses within design? What should I do? Well, that's a happy problem. Well, what should you do? Talk to us, right? Talk to different people. You could talk to us to find out more about the courses. You can talk to those who are already in the courses to find out what the experience is like and whether that's going to suit you or not. Talk to your parents, right? I think your parents will be very important in giving you a different sort of insight. And they would be a lot more, very supportive, in fact, in giving you a different point of view. So talk to your parents, talk to your teachers, do your research. And at some point, you will find some clarity, between course A and course B, all right? So the first thing you should do is research. Read as much as you can, go online. All our websites, are there for you, to study, and then talk to different people, all right? And for you already being in this session with us, I think that's already one of the ways where you are getting some information. So that's good. Okay, there's another question. What about for students with international qualifications? Is there any international students in design? Yes, there are international students in design. For those with different international qualifications and you don't come in through JAE, the Joint Admissions Exercise, there is a different admissions exercise. I think it's called the Direct Admissions Exercise that you should be looking out for. And that's when you can apply for a place. Okay, but yes, certainly we have our share of international students in design. Okay, let me see. Yeah, I think I've come to the end, in fact. No more questions, I believe. Okay, we're almost close to an hour, close to 6 p.m. already. Again, really want to thank all of you for being here with me this afternoon, and really hope that you've gotten enough information. If not, we still have one more day of the open house, the virtual open house. We are on tomorrow at 11 a.m. to find out more about the courses in the School of Design, what the learning experience is like. Do join us at 11 tomorrow. And at 2 p.m., I will be co-hosting tomorrow's session at 2 p.m. with Jeff Cheong, who is Deputy CEO of GDB Group. And he'll be able to share great insights, about why he picked design, and what his career was like and how did he move from being a student to his role today as a Deputy CEO. Okay, yes. Oh, wow. There are more questions coming in. Okay, do I need a strong base of editing skills in DFT, or do I just need to be creative in filming? We will teach you, right? We will teach you all the different technical skills that you need, from camera work to sound to editing to script writing, right? Do you need to be creative in filming? Well, I mean, it's how you want to compose that shot. We will teach you about all these different ways where you can be creative as well. So I think it's important just to be very open, and being very willing to learn and to pick up new things, all right? So yes, we will teach you all these skills, not to worry. Ashlyn says, I like art and design as a hobby. I'm not sure if I should go for it. Take it as my course. Okay. Yeah, then I think, find out more about your course. I mean, there are so many ways, so many aspects of design. There's fashion, there's film, there's product. Liking art and design is one thing, but really the question to ask is, how best do you want to apply this into a course, right? Is it really in, let's say, in illustration? Do you like illustration? Or do you like to express yourself in video? Or do you like fashion illustration? So I think you need to find out a little bit more about all the different courses, and surely maybe among them, you will find that right place where art and design can then fit, have a good fit for you in terms of the course that you choose. Okay. Okay, Archana, thank you so much. Yeah, I'm glad you're enjoying all the online sessions. I hope everybody is. Yeah, I really enjoyed this session too. I was a little bit nervous, at first, but I think having you guys as an audience is great. I really love the questions. Yeah, keep them coming in. Many ways to reach us, write to us. There are feedback forms that you can, again, ask us as many questions as you like. And I hope to see some of you tomorrow as well. Okay, so with that, I'm going to close this session now. And just to say thanks again for everyone for being here. And yeah, see you. I hope to see you all in school. All the best for your results soon. All right, bye-bye.
Purchase your tracks today.
So, if you have a passion for fashion and feel that life is dull without style, then this course is for you. Come join us in apparel design and merchandising at the Temasek Poly School of Design.
Purchase your tracks
See you soon. Bye bye.
If you believe that creativity means being the best version of yourself and setting your mind free, come join us at Communication Design. Woo!
He.
I just wanted somebody to talk to.
Why are you stopping me now? It wasn't my fault.
Fine! 2 minutes lah. Okay, little ones are gone anyway.
So if you wish to tell your stories on screen, bring your audiences on an emotional journey of laughter and tears, one award-winning film at a time. Then come join us at
Temasek Polytechnic Digital Film and Television.